Straight. What's up, everybody? Paul here, Left Coast Model Car Builds. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday. Hope you have had a good week. Hopefully some good family time, some good bench time, the important stuff, right? So here we are. A couple of questions that came through. And a couple of these have been lingering for a while. I've been wanting to get a video out. It's just between work being pretty crazy, keeping up with a couple of teenagers, and the channel, as funny as it sounds. It's like a third kid, right? Just trying to be consistent with our Tuesday resin reviews, Throwback Thursdays, a couple little show and tells. I never really did an intro. I actually did 2 or 3 of them, but it was earlier on where I was nowhere near as comfortable talking in front of a camera. No one was going to be out there on the tube. And so they got deleted. And the channel just kind of developed itself, going through show and tells and the videos you guys have seen. So I guess good place to start. Which one? Well, let's just start with the channel. So I'm not familiar with the YouTube, the editing, all that stuff. This was all new. I had posted probably a video or two a couple of years back on some supplement reviews. Used to be big on lifting weights and doing all that. Earlier this year, I did set out to live a little healthier lifestyle, so I started a channel on just meal prepping, the routines, supplements, things that never really took off. It was really more trying to keep motivation up. But I did learn through that the shorts, which I knew nothing about. But I started posting those, a couple of, gym ones. Then I'd throw up some car stuff and some model car stuff and some of Belle and I shooting pool. And those would take off. They're getting, 1 to 5, 6,000 views. And I was like, oh, it's kind of cool. So eventually that channel, I found myself posting more shorts on pool cars and model cars, really. I tweaked my shoulder, so kind of set me off the path of lifting and everything. So continuing to watch YouTube, which I've done. Jason and Dylan, NYS and Blue Ox, had their group builds up. And it was kind of like, hey, these are cool. The hobby I've been in, I'll get more into this on my background, but trying to become more consistent, I thought maybe a group build would be funner too. So I saw the Street Machine Pro Street. Dylan said, hey, gassers are okay, but cool, Their thing was post a video, your entry video. Well, I thought, all right, I guess we're just gonna dive into this, right? And that was it. Threw 2 quick videos up, and man, they're pretty rough. I'm not saying maybe these are still rough, right? Compared to other stuff and folks that bear with editing and things, but those were pretty rough. But that's what got me started. And then I had looked at doing like a little intro video, background stuff, and I didn't like them. I did 2 or 3 and deleted them. And the channel just kind of took off. Some input from other channels. Jason was obviously a big help over at Blue Ox. Manny gave me some good insight. Mars, Tom, they're all pretty cool. Gave me some good insight. And the channel just kind of developed itself. So the question then kind of went from not so much who I was, but how'd you develop this channel? I don't know. I told Belle when we started this, it really was to have fun, have a good time, and learn something, try to give something back to the community. So that's kind of what I felt we did. Early on, a couple things I did, paint, some interior tricks. I had a few people say, hey, I did this, it worked out great, thanks, awesome. Covered that goal, right? Then we got into Throwback Thursdays, Resin Review Tuesdays, and things just kind of developed, and continuing with the shorts, with the full scale stuff, as you see part of the 57 in the background. So between the two, the channel it really jumped. We've just hit July, August, 3 months, and we're a little over 1,500 followers. We have not forgot. We got our 1K giveaway, but that's kind of how quick this thing has gone. You know, when we hit 1K, Bell and I, we're going to do a cool giveaway. Came with a good idea. Check the video out if you haven't, because we're going to do that giveaway Saturday or Sunday. So if you're not in it, check that video out, or jump in on this one. That's fine. But 2 or 3 picks is going to be something decent, you know. But that's just how quick everything's kind of gone. It's, you know, trying to keep a consistent channel, you know, Resin Tuesdays, Throwback Thursdays, throw some show and tells in on past builds, projects, stalled projects, trying to keep things consistent for you guys, the viewers, anybody that's enjoying it, right? And I appreciate that. It means the world. I had no clue how this was going to go. You know, I thought we were going to jump on here and throw some videos up periodically, maybe interact with someone, and that would be it. And it has been completely different. When some of those folks that talk about developing a YouTube channel, there's a lot of stuff, and there's so much that is just repeat. It's like someone reading a different script. But there's a few of those folks, when they say the best thing is, especially if you know your subject, just get out and post something. Just do it. If someone's listening to this and you're hesitant to throw a channel up because of the editing, the videoing, the talking in front of the camera, just do it. It'll get there. Believe me, I wish I would have done this a while back, because it's been a blast. I've made friends that I never knew. I've connected with people, excuse me. I've connected with people that I grew up seeing their builds in magazines, and now we chat. I mean, it is awesome. So if you're out there and you're watching and you're hesitant, just do it. Jump up, throw it out there, jump in the community. This is a great one. So that kind of gets us through why I started. The intro, like I said, I had 2 or 3 recorded and deleted them. I can do my resin reviews, my Throwback Thursdays, and there's no script, but it feels like it because the material's in front of me. The kit, the magazine, the resin. This right here has taken me, oh my God, probably 10 or 20 views of deleting it or whatnot. It's crazy. I don't know. But a little background. So I grew up around the 1-to-1 cars. My pops, you know, prior to me even being born, you know, my folks, their family cars were a 57 and a 55 business coupe. As the time I came around, they had their, you know, first new car. They got rid of the 55, kept the 57, which is behind us. But I just grew up around that culture. Pops, well, he was an auto body man for shops. He did work with some local custom guys, side work. So I grew up constantly seeing cars painted in the backyard, body work. He'd take a week off from the day job to finish a side job. I'd go to shops. When I was little, I'm 44, 45. Anybody around my age, you probably know the G.I. Joe, He-Man, all that stuff. The Land Shark, He-Man, that was actually at Rod Shop, the 1-to-1 full scale. I got to get pictures in that. Really cool. So it was fun. I grew up around that stuff. Chop Mercs, lead sleds, everything. That's why you'll see a lot of my builds. I like street machines, I like Pro Streets, but you'll probably see more that's going to lean towards that 60s style white walls, not lowrider, not a full-on custom, right in the middle. Gassers, things like that, that period stuff, because that's kind of what I saw growing up. Going to the Oakland Roadster Show, going to Famoso Raceway for nostalgia drags. You know, I started building the models around 89, I think it was about 11 or 12. And having the access to paint, that, I mean, that's a huge thing. You guys probably see it these days. Paint's a huge thing. So, for myself, you know, rattle cans were mostly your flat blacks for your chassis, stuff like that. I was very fortunate. I grew up with access to House of Colors, PPG, Deltron. Some of my first attempted builds that never got done were candy paint jobs. I messed up a lot of stuff, let me tell you, but it was a blast. I loved to paint, coming from seeing my dad do that. I attempted a lot of customs. I have some that I started when I was 13, 14, 15 that I had some help with, and then they got parked, and I still want to go back and finish, you know. Chopped 51 Fleetline, a 56 Crown Vic. So got a lot of stuff going on. So you'll probably see those over the next year probably. But painting was what I enjoyed. At one point, a friend of mine was taking on promos. A gentleman that was in the lowriders picked up a ton of your probably 78, 79 Cadillac promos. And he was asked to paint them, put the Pegasus wires on them, lower them, and, you know, just a clean interior. So I did a lot of that candy paint work, and that was back when I was 14, 15. So it was really interesting going to the NNL West. 4 years in a row, I won the youth award. As far as I know, it was a record. There was someone that had 3 years. I ended up with 4. I don't know. It's a record. I mean, it's a youth award. It's an award. I had more fun going. The first year or two was really cool to win, but by my 3rd and 4th year going as a youth, I was more talking to people, getting ideas on builds. That's where I met Gary Seeds. But I was fortunate enough to win that. And initially people assumed the builds were painted by someone else. Then I had a resin caster back in the day that I met there during the swap meet that had asked if I was interested in doing paint work and swap for resin parts. I was like, sure, why not? I mean, I was 14. I was like, oh, damn, my folks help me package, ship it out, or get me to the post office, but cool, you know? And I was one of those folks that if anybody doubted me, I didn't just kind of walk away. I was more like, hey, we're an hour away. You can go to my house and we'll start painting stuff right now. Or you take me where you're at, show me your setup, and I'll start painting. That's just how it was. I think the time I started building, Pops showed me, some lacquer candies and some other stuff. But by the time I was in 5th or 6th grade, he was coming home from work. I was cleaning up the gun. I would just get stuff, very minimal cleaning. I just wanted to paint. I loved it. I loved seeing something come through and paint. And that was quickly how I learned cleanup, scribing lines, taking out molds, seams, not body lines as in what should be there, but the seams, mold releases, all that, cleaning all those things up. I used to hate that because I just wanted to paint. And then eventually I realized the more you put into that prep work, the better that paint looks, right? So I grew up painting with touch-up guns, automotive paints, and I loved it. That was what I liked to do. Now it's kind of the balance of putting it all together, right? But I built built cars on and off from the time I was a kid. As a youth, I mean, I did it year round, I was going to Radio Shack, getting wrapping wire to use for spark plugs, the solder that we still use for fuel lines, you know, right here, everything. And that's just the way it came up. Now, eventually life hit and the models, you know, kind of took a back seat at some point. I mean, we raced RCs before that and off and on. So it kind of went back and forth, and modeling between, going back and forth between RCs, getting into shooting pool, then just life, kids, everything. There were times I probably went 2 years without touching a build. And then I would get in a spurt and do a couple quick builds and then drop off. So that's where the channels really helped kind of bring me back. If I finish what I need to for group builds I'm in, that'll probably be the most builds I've done in a year ever. And that's cool. Like, that's cool. I'm blessed. And it's making me pull old projects out. We're prepping for the air show, so we'll let that go by. Air shows this weekend. So yeah, it really just, this YouTube's pushed me to build and keep me at the bench, which I've liked it. So, I mean, that's a little bit of a background on me. Growing up, we got the Chevy. I've got a 63 Riviera we're doing. I've got a 59 Apache that was, for mine, it was pretty much done. I mean, it wasn't like a show truck. Had a Mustang 2 Camaro rear end, a Mustang 2 front end, lowered, really nice. Got ahead on the highway. The metal is what's kept me alive. You know, guy fell asleep, crossed over, landed on my hood. The metal on the truck's what saved me. I want to salvage what I can, rebuild the truck. So that's kind of my real car to one-to-one relation. But as far as the channel development, you know, trying to be consistent right now is the Resin Tuesdays, Throwback Thursdays. Don't really do a mail call Monday because I don't always have mail on Monday, but just a few random things, stalled projects. I mean, it's a show and tell community if you think about what we're doing here. Whether you're doing unboxings, projects, chopping, it's all community to show each other what we're doing, where our interests are. There is no right and wrong. But I do know, based on looking at analytics and understanding a little more of that, there's a lot of shorts that have drawn in a lot of followers. So us being around 3 months and having 1,500 plus followers, it's not like 1,500 plus deep in the model community. You know, anybody who likes the channel, hey, great, glad you're enjoying the content. But that's what we do. I mean, a few videos up for the model cars, and I try to get a short or a couple shorts up every day on the other cars, because just like this stuff you guys are watching, I get a little bit of feedback on the shorts, like, hey, can you do more Mopars? Can you do C10s? Can you do this? So it's kind of going back and forth between both things, and it's been cool. It's worked out good. So that's, I guess, a little 3-month intro on myself and a little background on the channel. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. I'm going to try to do something down the road with a couple of older builds and some older stuff that's, been in magazines. I have some of my builds, we have the magazines that go back from when I was a youth, and they're in there. So I'm going to try to get some of those out, try to do a little video showing some of those to you guys. And you're talking back in the 90s, so, but we got them, I just got to dig them out. So anyways, that's a little intro on myself 3 months later, or 3 months in, and a I guess just a little bit on the channel. I mean, it's, you guys, there's a ton of great channels. I have a few guys that are like, hey, I've been at this for over a year. It either stalled or, you know, I'm here and it's not moving. Like, how'd you jump this far in 3 months? The only thing I can say is the consistency of, you know, having a theme on a day that people can catch, and the shorts. You know, I'm just fortunate that aside from the model community, we have that 1-to-1 scale community that we deal with kind of on a weekly basis. So I go out there and take little 20-second videos of cars and then post them up as shorts. We might go do the nostalgia drags in Famoso in October. If we do that, there'll be some videos, some shorts. Tomorrow we're taking the Chevy to a run for a friend. So I may do a full video on that, but there'll be a lot of shorts on the cars. There'll be some really nice cars. So there'll be some shorts out of that. But that's the only thing I tell you how I've developed the channel. I'm by no means a tech guru or anything like that. I'm still figuring out the basics of editing here. So anyways, guys, that's it. This has kind of gone on. I'm going to go see if these kids, I kind of put the kids in charge of barbecuing. They may have killed the chicken or may not have even started it yet. So I'm going to go check on Belle and June, see what they're doing with that. Wish you guys a good weekend, and we will see you again this weekend for the giveaway. Have a good one, guys.